Okay, so before I start this video, I'd like to show you my earrings because I love them. So they're kind of a little beady thing here, and then they've got some little spiky things. I have an issue with my ears, which actually I'm just going to slightly digress from the video that I'm going to make. So what happened with my ears, this is what this earring looks like, and you can see that there's like a little gap in between there. On this one, you can see a much larger gap there. The reason for that is because when I was 6 months old, my mum decided to ask her brother to pierce my ears. He is a qualified pharmacist, and ear piercing was kind of done by pharmacists at that point at one time. He made 2 holes in this one, and he made one slightly too high, and then he made one slightly lower. Because the first one was like in the wrong place, and then over years and years and years I used to wear earrings in the top one, and then eventually they kind of joined, so then I was left with this huge gaping hole in my ear. So this hole is much lower. So if anyone knows where I can get some more of these kind of earrings, I think they're really, really cute. But I want one with really small, like subtle diamantes at the bottom. I saw somebody wearing them and I was just too embarrassed to ask where she got them from, because I just spent the whole time looking at her ears and I didn't want to think I was weird. So if anyone knows where I can get something similar with possibly little diamantes at the bottom, nothing like too horrendous, but I just thought these were really cute. So anyway, what was my video? What am I supposed to be filming? Okay, so driving test. I had to do my driving test 3 times to pass. I'm going to explain why. There's nothing really that exciting about this story apart from the fact that I was really shit. The first time I did my driving test, I was absolutely terrified. I was so nervous. I had to sit on a pillow because I couldn't reach the steering wheel. I knew I had failed within probably the first like 10 minutes of my driving test. In High Wycombe, there is this huge roundabout with like 5 exits, and he told me to take the second left, so naturally I got into the left-hand lane. The left-hand lane was going to the motorway, so I had to cut across the traffic to get into the correct lane, at which by that point I knew I'd failed, and I was like, look, I know I failed, should we just go back? We have to complete the test. Please keep driving. I was like, oh my God. So then I had to do the entire test. I have to say the rest of the test was absolutely fine, because after that I wasn't scared anymore. I was in the wrong lane at a roundabout and it was just horrendous. And the worst thing is I'd done that roundabout so many times. And the examiner's thinking, you fucking turd, like, why are you in the wrong lane? Like, you know you're not supposed to be in this lane. And I'm sat there thinking, I know I'm in the wrong lane, but I've already failed my test. So it was horrendous, because if I didn't want to go on the motorway, I had to cut across like another lane. And obviously that was just shit. So that happened, and then I got a couple of little minors about mirrors and stuff. And then the second test I did, I had to parallel park on a hill, which I thought was really, really, really unfair. So I ended up like rolling the car back slightly. I don't know, I'm saying slightly. It can't have been that much because I didn't hit the car behind me. But I rolled back on a hill, which I thought was really unfair that he made me do that, because I hadn't come to grasps with like clutch control at that point. So I think in America all the cars are automatic, so you guys don't have a clutch, but it wasn't fun. Well, I'd done the whole test. I thought I'd done really well until he asked me to parallel park, and I was just, this is shocking. I've just failed. I've rolled back, and I knew the second I rolled back I was going to fail. So he failed me. And the third time I did my driving test, which was the one that I'd passed, was actually a different person. So I think the first person just thought I was shit and was never going to pass me anyway. The third person that actually passed me was like a really nice man. And actually there was one point where I thought I'd failed, because I was driving on this road and he told me to take the next right turning, but there was a whole row of traffic on the right side and I couldn't actually see where the turning was. So I said, I'm really sorry, I don't actually know where the turning is. Like, can you point it out to me? And he was like, oh, it's coming up on the right hand side, just drive up a little bit. And I could see this lorry like going into a turning, so I figured that was the turning that I was supposed to take. And then all the cars kind of lined up, so I didn't really know what I was supposed to do. So I waited there, and then I waited, and I still couldn't see whether there was actually a road there or not, because there was this massive lorry in the way. So I just sat there like a twat. And then once the car moved, I realised there was a space and I could turn, but otherwise I thought I was going to fail, because I was like, he can't surely fail me because all these other cars are like blocking my way. So no, it's fine. I passed the test, and now, as ironic as it sounds, I actually think I'm quite a good driver. I guess everybody says that. Yeah, I did have to take 3 attempts. The only reason I thought I'd make this video is because somebody messaged me to say that they'd failed their driving test once and they were like traumatized about it. I was like, well, I failed twice, so it's really not a big deal, because I knew how to drive. Nerves kick in and then shit hits the fan and then you don't know what you're doing, and then it's like you're down shit creek without a paddle. I didn't know what I was doing. I got really nervous, and on the third go I was like, well, if I fail, I fail, like, who cares? And then because I guess I wasn't as nervous, like, I was absolutely fine. So that is the story of my driving test. If you want to tell me the story of your driving test, if you took like 5 attempts to pass, then please let me know, because I think other people that are taking their driving test just need to be reassured that it's not the end of the world if you don't pass your test. Although at the time it feels like it's the end of the world, because you've got pressure from your friends, you've got pressure from siblings, you've got pressure from your parents, and you're like, everyone in the world can drive apart from me, and then it feels like you're never going to pass. It was fine. It was absolutely fine. I felt like a complete idiot. So like I said, I was really small and I had to sit on a pillow to drive because I couldn't reach the pedals. And then my driving instructor said to me, I will sew your name onto this pillow and give it to you as a present if you pass. And he didn't, but he did let me keep the pillow. So yes, that was great. That's my story. And if you have any requests, or if you want to send this to someone that's failed their driving test loads of times, please let them know, because it's fine. Like, you'll get past it. You'll pass eventually. It's not a big deal. Love you lots, and see you soon.